Karma right back to me. Karma drops from almost all activities in the game, and some larger crafts will require a huge amount, but there are efficient ways both to farm karma and consistently turn any amount of karma into gold. In this video we will go over both, starting with... You can stack a lot of modifiers for karma gain to passively speed your way towards a stable karma economy. For the long term, you can grab the karmic enrichment from any laurel vendor for 10 laurels, or simply wait for your first character to reach their 8th birthday, where you will get a free celebratory birthday enrichment. This enrichment has the exact same effect as the karmic enrichment, except for the addition of an annoying firework visual effect. The birthday version can also be purchased from laurel vendors, but for an additional 15 laurels and 5 gold, so be sure to pick up the right one. Anyhow, once you have an ascended or legendary amulet, you can slot this enhancement in for a 15% karma boost forever. Add to that a 10% permanent karma boost you can pick up at your guild hall if you're a part of a guild that has this early buff unlocked. You can find elixirs to pick up or change between buffs at a guild enhancement vendor like this one. With the permanent sources out of the way, of course you can add your food and enhancement buff. The most accessible options here are the peppermint oil and peppermint omnom berry bar that can both be bought on the trading post and add a 10% karma gain each. From the trading post you can also buy candy canes for a 1 minute 10% buff, stacking up to a duration of 30 minutes. Then you can go to New Kaining and Cantha and do one of the hearts there to purchase a 1 hour long karma boost from the heart vendor. You might also have picked up a couple of guild heroes banners from the world boss killing achievement. Otherwise you can buy them from this list of vendors. This banner gives another 15% karma gain and stacks with the spirit banner that can be purchased from the Mystic Forge attendants for 25 spirit shards each for an additional 10%. Reaching something a bit rarer, you might have picked up a karma booster for reaching level 38 on a character, or certain chest drops, or even a communal boost bonfire that is currently only purchasable with black lion statuettes. These rare items give a whopping 50% karma boost, but doesn't stack with each other as they give the same buff. And finally you can pop a Winter's Blessing for another 10% karma. This would all add up to a total karma gain modifier of 150% without even considering achievement completion bonus that can stack up to a permanent 72% if you have 60,000 achievement points. For comparison though, I feel very comfortable making guides at a measly 14k achievement points with an 11% bonus from this. It's not something to strive for the bonus. But I didn't mention where to get the Winter's Blessing, and that's because that's part of the most efficient way to farm out karma, giving Winter's gifts to orphans on Wintersday. Each winter from about the 10th of December till the 2nd of January, Winter's Day happens in Guild Wars 2. During this time you can purchase weapon skins from the Charity Corps Seraph in Divinity's Reach for 504 karma each, or you can purchase them for silver from the trading post, but I never saw the appeal in that as I want the karma to make gold, not cost gold. Then you can purchase wrapping paper from the Charity Corps Seraph gift wrapping for another 504 karma. And then with those two items as currency, purchase wrapped gifts. There are 30 orphans around Divinity's Reach that will accept one wrapped gift from your account per day and reward you with 1500 base karma for your troubles. That means each day you can spend 30,240 karma to gain 45,000 karma. A meh increase, but you might already have caught the situation. This karma gained is direct, which means it applies all your bonuses. So adding the 140% bonus karma gained, your daily yield would be 108,000 karma or a profit of 77,760 karma for a 5-minute trip around Divinity's Reach. Do that for all 23 days Wintersday is up and you will have a neat sum of 1,788,480 additional karma to last you through the coming year. This of course requires having all the possible buffs, but doesn't account for any achievement bonuses. I don't go for all of them myself. 25 spirit shards are super valuable for conversion into gold themselves, which means spending them on a 10% karma buff isn't valuable. The food too is decently expensive, but you can have an old character Pact in Divinity's Reach for Wintersday that only logs on to sprint through the streets and give gifts to orphans. That character could go for a decent amount of days without needing to refresh their buffs. Additionally, you will likely find a lot of people having plopped down banners for all to use in the area where you find the Charity Corps Seraphs, as well as probably a karma bonfire boost. That means you might not have to find these rare items yourself to obtain the 75% karma bonus buffs they add up to. The Winter's Blessing itself is awarded from a daily achievement you get from donating presents to 15 orphans. With a character Pact, you will likely get a nice little stack of these, as you won't need to refresh that buff daily. As you can see in the footage, I got about 3,450 karma from each orphan, meaning my total Wintersday gain, if I had been diligent, would have been 1.68 million karma. Slightly less for my lack of the new Kining buff, which I learned about while researching this video. The more you know. When running the route, I like to run it by memory, which means I generally miss 1 or 2 orphans each day like a mook. But if you want to be better than me and you have a second monitor, I suggest opening the Guild Wars 2 wiki page linked below. Here you can see an interactive map of Divinity's Reach and run to each point on that to make sure you get them all. I'd also put myself running the route at the end of the video for visual people that like to run along, but I only think I got 28 of the orphans because it's one of the places where I feel like it's more effort than it's worth to be extremely studious. Instead, I'll link to one of the many YouTubers doing the same run and doing it better than me. The link for that video is below. While the Wintersday is a karmic bounty, it doesn't help you most of the year. What about you watching this in April? Never fear, Specimen Chamber and Dragonfall are both here. These events do not scale well with modifiers, because most of the karma you gain from running them are from map-wide buffs that grant you karma items from each mob you kill. The Specimen Chamber is the most efficient of the two. In the Sandswept Isles, you can find Ethal the Merchant here and purchase the karmic retribution up to 3 times for a total of 16,000 volatile magic and 30 gold. This might sound like a lot, but when we get to the ways of converting karma back into gold, you'll realize how fast this investment is paid back. When a tier is purchased, you gain a permanent buff in the Sandswept Isles that make each loot dropping mob you kill also drop a consumable item. The first tier drops an item worth 50 karma, the second tier 100 karma, and the third tier 200 karma. When you have purchased the tier you're comfortable with, teleport to the Anayagil waypoint here and head into Rata Primus itself. Follow my path here through the inner section to get to the laser grid locking you out of the Specimen Chamber. This is where the meta will happen. The meta uptime is locked to the instance of the map you're on, rather than a server time timer as most other metas. This means that once a map instance is generated by the first player entering it, the Specimen Chamber pre-meta will spawn 1 hour later. Then, when the full meta is completed and the event has stopped showing, it will spawn again in another hour. There will also be a message counting down to the pre-meta spawning 15 minutes before the event, so if you arrive and that message is not there, it will be more than 15 minutes till the event spawns on your map. You can check your social tab Y and then go to the Looking for Group tab, then Living World Season 4, then Sandswept Isles, to see if anyone else might have an instance of the map where the event is currently up. If they do, you can join their party and then right-click on one of the portraits without a green filled out background to join them in their instance of the map. Now, I actually lied when I said the Specimen Chamber meta was what you wanted. What you actually want is the pre-meta. In this event, waves of mobs spawns from 3 directions and try to swarm you as you defend the control zone. The mobs spawn from 2 directions at a time after the first wave, and then always in a clockwise rotation each time a wave is defeated, so that 2 waves are always active at the same time. This is a game of tag. You want to get any amount of damage in on as many of these mobs as possible. Each mob drops loot and gives you a karmic retribution item. It's not uncommon to get 250 to 300 items from a single 7-minute pre-meta, and 250 times 200 is 50,000 karma. This, plus the loot drops and steady stream of volatile magic dropping, actually put this pre-event into my video on best earning meta events in the game, where my calculations at the time pinned the profit for a single 7-minute run at 13 gold and 16 silver. That would be 112 gold per hour if I never had to wait for the start of the event, or 35 gold an hour if we assumed I always waited 15 minutes before the event itself. I'll link to that video at the end of this one for anyone interested in grindable meta events that can give you up to 52 gold per hour. And mentioning that number, Dragonfall is also a part of that guide. So if you want to know how that works in depth, I suggest that guide. Here I'll just mention that the karma gain of Dragonfall works the same way as the Specimen Chamber. You purchase karmic retribution from the Mist Warden Quartermaster here at the Pact camp, and then go slay a lot of the mobs as part of the meta to gain a bunch of karma. One last note before we talk about how to convert your karma into sweet gold is that there does seem to be a soft cap on how many karmic retribution crystals you can get per day of farming. After doing on average 2 Specimen Chamber pre-events, I noticed getting significantly fewer drops, and I'm talking 37 from the entire event instead of 250. Still, it is a soft cap as you can technically keep farming after that. However, I'd probably switch to Dragonfall by then. Anyhow, on to... First off, there are 3 time-gated purchases that are valuable enough to grab. The first is a weekly antique summoning stone from Arborstone in Cantha. This costs 7,000 karma and sells for about 1 gold 34 silver, which is 19 silver and 14 copper per 1,000 karma. Next up, you can grab 6 Pact Scout mapping materials daily, 1 from each of 6 different vendors who change location each day. The Guild Wars 2 wiki has a page that shows you exactly where to teleport to find the vendors each day. Each item costs 5,250 karma and 2 silver, and can profit up to 42 silver and 33 copper on average if you do it right, which is 8 silver and 6 copper per 1000 karma. The best place to go to pop the map rewards as of the recording of this video is Fireheart Rise. However, you should be aware that there is a weekly map reward rotation going through 8 weeks. It's a little complicated, so the best way to get the best results is to look up this page, link in description, on the Guild Wars 2 wiki. The week number with the yellow highlight is the one you're currently in, and if you want to cash in your Pact Scout mapping materials that week, you simply go to the map at the top of that week's list and click away at your stack to fill your inventory with goodies. Waiting for the right week is very important though. As you can see on the screenshot here, week 7 of the rotation only had an average profit for full reward track completion, which is about 40 items, of 12 gold and 29 silver, 5.5 gold less than week 8. So, you know, check the week before turning this in and make sure you get the one you want. Last up on our time-gated currencies are 2 valuable map currencies. The Curious Mursaat currency and Curious Lowland Honeycomb are both available from daily completion of hearts in Janthia Sintry and Lowlands. The reward for grabbing them is too small to be worth farming separately, but definitely worth yoinking whenever you're doing the hearts anyways. The best way to make gold off of them is to turn them into Ursus Obliges and then find the more of the volcano vendor here and purchase the Thesis of Speed, Potent Simple Sharpening Stone, Potent Quality Sharpening Stone to sell on the trading post. Thesis of Speed being worth the most at the filming of this video, it'll net you about 7 silver per honeycomb or Mursaat currency. You also need to keep some karma around to convert your Eternal Ice Shards into Season 4 map currencies at Kep Corson, which you then turn into Volatile Magic to purchase T6 Trophy Shipment Crates from Khan Fallen Skull, both found in the Eye of the North. This is worth about 70 silver per 1000 karma, but it's probably the Eternal Ice Shards doing the heavy lifting. You pick those up primarily from doing the daily Icebrute Saga strikes or a home instance node, both of which I have videos on you can watch. I'll link the strike one at the end of this video. Purely for the karma, the best way to infinitely farm out gold is through the Mystic Forge. A load of Central Tyria heart vendors are willing to sell you gear items that aren't sellable, but can be thrown into the Mystic Forge to create new items, most of which can then be sold. At the filming of this video, the best one is the trusty pistol sold by Com 322R after completing the Assist Parma's research into the ancient transfer chamber heart in Metrica province, specifically near the Ak Wilds waypoint. Do the heart, fill up your inventory with pistols, teleport to the nearest Mystic toilet, flush them all down and put sellable ones you get up on the trading post. Then do that as many times as you have patience for within the same day, since the heart vendor stays open until the daily reset. Fast Farming says this gives an average of 40 silver per 1000 karma spent, pretty decent if a bit cumbersome to do. There'll of course be a link to that page in the description. Finally, there are 2 ways that are pretty value but will swallow your karma really quickly or passively if you don't feel like doing the constant manual flushing. Lost Orrian Jewely Boxes can be purchased from any karma vendor in Or, as many as you want. They contain mostly trash, but on average that trash is worth 1 silver 46 copper per 1000 karma. The other one is the Volatile harvesting tools. They can be purchased from this vendor in Dragonfall and give about 5 to 9 silvers value per 1000 karma. They give you volatile magic each time you harvest with them that you can turn into those trophy shipment crates mentioned earlier at Khan Fallen Skull. So yeah, while considering whether you should click the video for that strike mission stuff I talked about, or maybe the one from the meta event, you could also consider whether you'd be willing to support me with a nice big cup of coffee each month over on my newly made Patreon. I'd like to be more consistent in getting these guides out, and your support would go towards buying myself time enough to ensure that. As a reward for checking that out, you'll be able to vote on which Guild Wars 2 video I should do next. Link to that in the description as well. Either way, thank you for watching and see you in the next one.